Launched by Nick Logan in London in 1980, the Face magazine was a genuine trailblazer. Each issue's fresh visuals and fabulous writing, bound together by Neville Brody's era-defining graphic design. The Face didn't only report on the culture, it became the culture. It turbocharged the careers of so many creatives who were featured on its pages. Yet in 1995, it would be two young Dutch photographers whose set of images in the Face thrust the Paintbox to the top of the power list. But what was this mysterious Quantel Paintbox? To find out, we need to go back 14 years to the National Association of Broadcasters' annual convention in Las Vegas, where British company Quantel revealed the power of their $150,000 revolutionary digital paintbox, not by creating a TV news graphic or weather map, but by digitally manipulating a photograph. Artist Martin Holbrook had helped the engineers design a famously user-friendly interface, requiring no computer knowledge and where everything was controlled by Quantel's patented pressure-sensitive pen. Holbrook grabbed a photo of the Las Vegas Hilton onto the Paintbox screen, and within a few minutes had added smoke and flames, creating fake images of the real fire that had torn through the hotel just 2 months earlier.
We can illustrate, we can retouch photographic material. It really has endless applications, even beyond the television industry.
April 12th, 1981 was the day Quantel's Paintbox launched digital manipulation into a new era. The Paintbox was launched the same year as MTV, and they were made for each other. Most of the digital effects you saw on music videos were created on Paintbox. A single innovative video could propel a record to #1 across the world, winning MTV awards and transforming an unknown band into a famous supergroup. Record companies invested in a new genre of digital creatives to push the Paintbox's cutting-edge possibilities so far that they even impressed art museums.
In a recent exhibit, New York's Museum of Modern Art included this music video Charlex created for The Cars. Alongside Calder's and Warhol's, the museum shows the best of broadcast television, as well as experimental works not often aired on TV.
Networks are always competing with one another. They are trying to come up with new ideas. Often it seems like it's repeating what's been done in the past. But they, in their search for some innovations, take a look at what the experimental artists are doing. So they look at what's going on at the Museum of Modern Art.
One piece of equipment Charlex depends on is the electronic Paintbox.
It's a device, a new electronic device that allows the art director to cut, paste, airbrush, paint.
But the Paintbox can do more than just paint.
In paste-up mode, I have the ability to cut out any shape on the screen just by delineating a rectangle which cuts out the shape, and I have a duplicate. Now I have 2 nymphs, and I can stick that down there, and I can do it again, and I have 3 nymphs, and stick that there, and oh, maybe I want this one to flip, so I just hit flip, and now they're back to back. And maybe I want to tumble them, and I can tumble like that, and you can see already how easy it is.
And it was this new ability to seamlessly and quickly combine multiple images, which quickly appealed to traditional painters and photographers such as Richard Hamilton, who used the Paintbox to create museum-quality fine art.
Cut and paste is something that you're very familiar with in the word processing language and terminology. To be able to take out a sentence and put it somewhere else is something that is being done every minute of the day in offices. It's rather more remarkable when you see the cut and paste facility being applied to a visual problem.
Hamilton was so impressed by the Paintbox in 1986 that he decided to buy one, creating photography-based digital fine art images on it well into the 90s. He was by far the most lauded Paintbox artist, but Hamilton wasn't the first. In 1984, Adrian Wilson picked up a Paintbox stylus and has been described as the first to specialise in manipulating photography using a digital paint system. That description by Alvy Ray Smith is definitely a mouthful, but at that time, there was no widespread understanding or name for what he was doing. The very basic Photoshop 1.0 was still 6 years away from being launched. In his early marketing material, Wilson simply, but presciently, described it as new photography. Though like all early adopters, there were limitations to this expensive tech, not least the $500 an hour cost to rent time on the Paintbox. However, the biggest issue was that it was designed for broadcast TV use. So, at the time, each frame was just 720 by 576 pixels. In order to squeeze as much resolution as possible for images destined to be printed vertically, not horizontally, Wilson would often have to work sideways, as can be seen in this fashion spread commission. Quantel themselves saw the opportunity of a photo-resolution paintbox, which they launched in early 1986, with one of Wilson's images on the front of the marketing brochure. Wilson's photo was also used as a demo image for customers who went to Quantel in Newbury to see this new million-dollar paintbox, the most famous of which being the French artist Kiki Picasso. Ordering both a video and photo quality paintbox to be installed in the Paris studio, Picasso would use them to manipulate photos for commissions for magazine and newspaper illustrations, TV titles and shows, and personal work for art exhibitions and political flyers. Picasso even created a music video for Boy George. His output was so prolific and his inimitable style so distinctive, it was impossible not to have seen and be impressed by Picasso's paintbox work. The awareness of the paintbox by creatives in the record industry meant that in the second half of the 80s onwards, it would be used to open up as much potential for visually arresting record covers as it had with music videos. From Queen's Miracle to Nirvana's Nevermind to Jean-Baptiste Mondino's image of Prince that got Lovesexy banned, these iconic covers wouldn't exist without a paintbox and their rockstar digital artists. Over in New York, Colour Wheel would buy an incredible 14 paintboxes. Richard Bernstein had fallen in love with the paintbox in 1985 after creating record covers on it for his friend Grace Jones. Bernstein was a master of photo manipulation, famous for his airbrushed photo portraits for Andy Warhol's Interview magazine. He spent the next few years exploring the paintbox's potential to transform a simple photograph into large multimedia canvases, culminating in a solo exhibition at the Cornerstone Gallery in Beverly Hills in 1992. Artists loved how the paintbox allowed them to distort photographs. Advertising agencies loved how it could retouch product photographs to make them look perfect. Some people loved how it could create fake news. And the fashion industry, unfortunately, loved how the paintbox could distort our views into how we should think a perfect woman's body should look. Not just models, movie stars too. Electric Paint in LA were the first to specialise in creating movie posters on the paintbox. In fact, its founder, Tony Redhead, helped create the prototype photo-quality paintbox at Quantel in 1985, drawing this, the earliest known high-definition paintbox image. Hollywood art directors suddenly could manipulate photos like never before, and Electric Paint became the go-to company for innovative poster designs like these. Airbrushing movie stars' faces was a decades-old tradition in Hollywood, but now why not swap their imperfect figures for that of a better-looking body double? It's common knowledge that Electric Paint swapped Julia Roberts' body on this poster, but to be fair, Richard Gere's was swapped too. Many celebrity fashion spreads of that period aren't quite as they appeared either. What previously took 3 days, being perfectly styled wearing different outfits in the studio, was now cut down to just 2 hours of headshots. Electric Paint's head swap artist would then use the paintbox to add those photos on the shoulders of a body double, who had spent the 3 long days being fussed over in the studio instead. Pretty Woman was released in 1990, and knowing what you do now, it seems strange why it took another 5 years for a cutting-edge music, fashion, and movie magazine to finally recognise the huge influence of the 1981 Quantel Paintbox. The Face falsely claimed that in 1995 the paintbox had previously been used in commercial advertising and was only now being used by the creative cutting edge, going on to claim that it was first seen at a magazine near you and that it was the new virtual vision. That the Face revealed they were so blatantly incorrect, and at least a decade behind the times, may be a clue as to why the magazine's sales figures fell from this point onwards. This coincided with the paintbox's demise too, the $1 million OG replaced by a $900 CD. Photoshop became a verb, Paintbox was erased from history, and Adobe is still using unscrupulous business tactics to maintain its $100 billion monopoly. More likely, the reason that the Face made the Paintbox #1 on its list of influential people in 1995 was not because of the machine. It was in recognition of those 2 young Dutch photographers, Inez and Vinud, whose incredibly popular spread they published in 1994 boosted their career like a rocket ship, and 30 years later continues to rightly be recognised for the stunning way the Paintbox enabled their ideas to come alive. From their imagination, to the Paintbox screen, to the magazine page, to the art gallery.
being confronted with it for the first time, you begin to worry about the philosophic implications of it, and what is it? Obviously, it's called a paint box. It's an extension of the artist's range of media, and it may have the kind of importance that photography had, that the influence of photography on Degas was the beginnings of a whole new episode in art history, which has still to run its course. And it may well be that this is the beginning, the first rumblings of the electronic impact upon the artist.